You know what? Excellence is what you want, and excellence is what you get. How are you living? What are you giving? If excellence is what you see, then excellent is who you be. What are you pursuing? It's all up to you. And when you come and make up in your mind.
Hello, beloved. Hello, hello, hello. It is absolutely wonderful to be with you today. I am grateful for this opportunity that I get to come and share with you every Friday, whether I'm doing it live or doing it by replay. But I am grateful. I'm grateful for WHPR and for engineer Tim, who's cracking jokes right before I come online. And so I love the opportunity to laugh and being reminded to smile. And so, hello, I am Dr. My name is Catherine E. James, right? So Dr. Catherine E. James here, bringing you For the Love of It, a weekly show designed with the sole purpose of adding more love into the world, one episode at a time. Thank you for sharing your precious time with me. I am so very grateful. I know that time is one of the precious commodities we don't get more of. Like, we can't make ourselves have more days. Now, we can do some things to elongate our days. We can take care of our bodies, eat healthy, drink water, those kinds of things. Don't put ourselves in harm's way, and that will likely increase our lives. We won't prematurely end it. So those things we can engage in. However, time in general, we can't make more of it. And so when you choose to spend time with me watching live and or watching the replay, I am very, very grateful. I don't take it lightly because I'm real particular about how I spend my time. Let me slow down. I was told last week to slow down. So I am really particular in how I spend my time. And so if you choose to spend your time with me, I'm very grateful. So with that being said, I absolutely love engagement, absolutely. And so I encourage you to dial in. You'll see the numbers below the screen. You could dial in on any one of those numbers. Dial in early, so I'm not rushing the call or and I'm going to keep training myself to not look at my paper so much, but to look at this phone that's right here in front of me. But make sure that you dial in early so that we can have a conversation either about what I'm talking about or what you'd like to talk about. But it's always going to be around this notion of love, self-love. So for the love of it, we'll take on many forms. We just never know what Papa has in store for us. We don't ever know. But since he's the creator of the universe, I'll yield to whatever he says. Everything will be anchored in Luke 10:27. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, strength, soul, and mind, and your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor as yourself. It is loving yourself where we park, where we get all of our inspiration from. It's the thing that I've been birthed to do, is to help us to love ourselves better. And so my seminal work is Self-Love, a gift you give yourself. That's my seminal work. And you can get step-by-step instructions. You can get tips and tools. You can get encouragement and inspiration and real life stories on how to love yourself better, how to grow in your self-love. By that, you can get it on any of the major outlets. Self-Love, a gift you give yourself, published in 2016. And so it is my life's intent for every soul to know love with a capital L and know that they are loved. Like, I use my energy, my resources, my time, I leverage my relationships, opportunities to help folk to love themselves. All people. We just all benefit. We all grow. It's better. Like, love never loses. There's no way for it to lose. Now, if something is losing that you're calling love, I suspect it's not love. I suspect it's something else. So, for me, it's an inside job. I must start with loving myself first. So anything I teach, anything I share, and I might share on any of my social medias, right? You can get me at Dr. Catherine E. James on almost any of the social medias, Instagram, Dr. Kathy E.J. You will always find me having the same subject. At some point, we're getting back to how well are you loving you, and what are your next steps? What are your opportunities? What else can you do to love you better? Can you look in the screen, in the mirror, and just really be, not fall. I don't believe in falling in love, because you fall in, you could easily fall out. I believe in intention, action, mature love, where I choose to love you even when I don't like you, when you done got on my last nerve, or when I allowed you to get on my last nerve, right? And so I choose mature love all day long. I don't care if I'm never fall in love again. I don't care if that is, for me, that whole romanticism, it's wonderful and all of those things, but if we're not intentional about it, it's so easy for it not to be. It's so easy for it to be fleeting. We have a call already. I love it. Caller, you're on the line.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am well. Who am I speaking with?
This is Tanya.
Hey, Tanya, how are you today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. What would you like to talk about?
I have a question.
Okay.
How are love and freedom connected as it relates to interpersonal relationships?
Ask me that again. Ask me that again.
Sure. How are love and freedom connected as it relates to interpersonal relationships, especially regarding those who have mistreated or wronged us?
Okay. So if I understand what you're saying, so you got love and freedom connected to interpersonal relationships where there have been challenges in the relationship, mistreatment from one person to another. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay, excellent. So the first thing that comes to my mind there is boundaries. Boundaries. We have to love ourselves well enough to put distance between that which is harmful to us. Now, oftentimes we have these life rules that say we're supposed to, we ought to, and we'll see it a lot in like marriage. We'll see it a lot in child-parent relationships. We'll say children are supposed to for their parents. But if parent, I'm a parent, and I believe in honor and all of that. But if our relationships are harmful to others, then others have the right to put up boundaries so that they can protect themselves. That gives us freedom, and that's operating in love.
Love it. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for the question, and thank you for calling in. Thank you, Tanya, for calling in. I appreciate you, sis.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so that's a great question that Tanya asked us, because sometimes we have these rules like we ought to, we supposed to, we must stay in relationships that are unhealthy. No, beloved, no. When Papa created you, there was not another one of you in the universe. Not another one. Never has been and never will be. And if we stay in a situation that doesn't allow us to be our fullest self, our highest version of ourselves, that we're always fighting to just be okay because the relationship is toxic and unhealthy, then we've got to do something. Like, we owe it to ourselves, and we honor Papa by doing whatever necessary to put the distance there, right? So Scripture talks about us being our brothers and sisters' keeper. So we want to try, and reconciliation is the ministry that we all have. So we want to try to reconcile, but when reconciliation is to my detriment, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We do what we can to reconcile, to restore. But if the other person, each have their own responsibility to love. If we are in loving relationships, then we are not intentionally harming. And when we realize that our behavior has been harmful, we have the responsibility to correct it, to do something different, to get our own stuff taken care of so that we're not steadily harmed. Sometimes we harm without even realizing, and all those kinds of things. Own it, beloved. If that's you, don't wallow in it. Don't self-pity about it. Recognize it. Take a sober look. Own it and repent, right? Turn away from that which, turn away from that which we've done. That's what repent is not to do it again, right? All right. Thank you, Tanya. I love questions because it always bring out rich material that I hadn't planned for. And so I love the impromptu. So every conversation that we have, since self-love is our life's intent, that every soul would know love and know that they are loved. Every conversation we have, every conversation we facilitate, all the tools and strategies we share, the guests we have on the show, and the actions we invite you to take are all intended to lead to you and I living out the assumption in Luke 10:27 that we would love our neighbors from the place that we first love ourselves. I'm just saying. It ain't no way. There's not a better way to live than to love yourself so well that you always have an overflow for others. Like, love yourself so extensively, so intentionally, that there is always an overflow, at least more often than not, for others, because we are here to live in community, to love on one another, but you got to love you first, consistently, intentionally. Okay, Proverbs 23:7 says, for as he or she thinketh in their heart, so are they. As a man thinketh in their heart, as a woman thinketh in their heart, so are they. So whatever we think about, that's who we are. That's what we are. This is where we're parking at today. So I need you to just pause, and we're going to go slow today. We're going to mind our pace. At Proverbs 23:7, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. As she thinketh in her heart, so is she. Okay? William James says, as he thinks, so is he. As he continues to think, so he remains. As she thinks, so is she. As she continues to think, so she remains. Okay? Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. I'm just saying. I hope you picking up what I'm putting down. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you, beloved, are correct. So we're gonna unpack these a little bit, but I just want to get them out there. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, my brethren. Now, when I ever try to do this without looking at it, I always miss some of them and probably add in something that's not really there, right? Finally, my brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be virtue and if there be praise, think on these things. So you see, we're talking about what we're thinking about, what we're giving our mental energy to, what we are focused on. Whatever we focus on, it's the eternal principle of sowing and reaping and sowing. Whatever you reap, whatever a man says, do not be mocked, beloved, do not be mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall reap, that shall he also soweth. Mixing that up too. But either way, you know what I'm saying. Sowing and reaping is real. Whatever you give out, you will get it back. You will get it back. It's God's eternal principle. We can't get around from that. So if you are lacking in love, what do you need to do? Love somebody. Love yourself, love somebody else. If you're lacking in peace, be peaceful. Give peace. Whatever you're lacking in, sow it. Give it out so that it can, that principle, you don't have to do anything with the principle. It is in and of itself. We can't get away from it if we wanted to. So, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Do not be deceived, Galatians 6:7. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. A man or a woman, whatever we sow, that we'll also reap. So this may seem like a very simplistic story and conversation, but I'm going to tell you why I'm focused on it in just a minute. I also came across a powerful quote that says, whatever it is you want, plant it, sow it, give it, and it shall be given unto you. Love it, love it, love it. It's Adrian Rogers who wrote that. And so it all starts with our minds. What we're thinking, what are we doing with our minds? We have the ability, the opportunity, and the privilege to co-create with Papa, the creator of the universe. The creator of the universe. Beloved, what you get to co-create with Papa, nobody else can do it. No one else can do it. It cannot be duplicated. So that means if you don't join Papa in this co-creative dance, we and you don't get what only you and he can bring. Manifestation into the universe. Only the two of you can bring together what we can. So for instance, one thing that I love, so I got another caller. So I'm going to remember about the Self-Love Queens Adventure. I said it out loud so I can remember it. Hello, caller, you're on the line.
Well, good morning. This is Devera Robinson calling.
Hello, Devera Robinson. How are you?
I am good. I was listening to you talk about the so a man thinking.
Yes.
Dr. James, how would you deal with a person who's always overthinking?
Yes.
Am I doing too much?
Mm-hmm. So
is that enough?
Not enough.
Can you unpack that for me?
Yeah. Are you doing too much? Is it not enough? So give me a little bit more about overthinking. Give me a little bit more so I know exactly what we're talking about.
So, for example, if I'm working on myself,
okay,
I'm saying, is this too much? Am I trying to be overly what's the word I'm looking for? Overly cute.
Okay.
Overly glamorous.
Okay.
You know, does this look good? Should I wear a wig? Should I not wear a wig?
Okay.
You know, so I'm overthinking it.
Okay. So one I would say is like give yourself permission to miss the mark. Like you get to create the mark of what it is. Does this work for you? Does it not work for you? Like it's this idea of right or wrong, right? That's kind of what I'm hearing of what you're describing. So am I overthinking it? So I've done this, does this work? I've done this, does this work? How about the idea I've done this and it's sufficient for now?
Okay.
And if something needs to change, I'll know it and I'll change it then. But for right now, this works. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so what you're saying is sufficient for now.
It's sufficient for now. So finding your place, because it sounds like you'll do the efforts, get to a certain place, but then you question whether that effort was sufficient or was it too much. And so it's the idea of acceptance, like that self-acceptance piece. Like it's good right now. It is what it is right now. And being okay with it. And if there is some need for adjustment, meaning more or less, then you're able to do it. But right now, this is sufficient.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate you. And you were getting ready to tell us about the Self-Love Queen Adventure. I'm anxious to hear about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Devera L. Robinson, for calling in. So, yes, when I'm thinking about this co-creative dance that Papa and I have created together, Papa literally spoon-fed me this Self-Love Queens Adventure. So get your pen, your pencil, paper, your computer, your phone, so you can write it down. September the 21st through the 24th, Gull Lake Retreat, Christian Retreat Center. It is an amazing time. We had the inaugural Queens Adventure in May of 2022. This is our second go round. We're in a lodge where the lodge sleeps 50, so it's all women. So it's an adventure. So I'm going to ask you a question, women, or if you know a woman, your wife, your sister, right? Are you a woman, or you know one, who is ready to cultivate love for all of her parts, to honor her soul's cry courageously, to experience jubilance with sister interactions, to build muscles for celebrating her first, and then her, your sisters, and to gain tools for sustaining the transformation? Because when you come to the Queen's Adventure, there will be transformation. There's no doubt in my mind. It is an opportunity for food, fun, laugh, like demonstratively loving on each other. You know, there's this concept that women can't get along. I just think that's the most ridiculous, asinine, I can't even think of another word. Concept that says women can. What do you mean women can't get along? I don't understand that. So that is absolutely not the case at the Queen's Adventure. We love on each other. We hold each other accountable. That doesn't mean we don't get along. It just means I love you enough to speak the truth to you and to hold you accountable. And so I invite you to the Queen's Adventure. All their food is included. Your lodging is included. 4 days. We start at 11. First meal is at noon. We end Sunday at 4. It's like a slumber party for 4 days where you with your besties and just having an amazing time. There are 2 rooms left. If you are a woman who would love to be there, then I would love for you to be there. The price is $797 and you can get a payment plan. But 2 rooms left, and if you would love, so this is the first time we've actually opened it up to the public. And so 2 rooms are available, and so you are invited to be there. Papa spoon fed that to me. I made myself available, met Papa in meditation every morning, and he just little by little gave me the vision. There's not another self-love Queen's Adventure that I know about, right? And I know there's not another one where I have the privilege of serving these amazing women. And so there's something that only you and Papa can do. There's something only you and Papa can do. Make yourself available to it. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. What you focus on, you will get back. Beloved, I'm inviting you to not focus yourself out of the brilliance that is yours. Not focus yourself out of the manifestation that only you and Papa can do together. To not focus yourself into detriment and focus yourself. So how do we get here? My question to you is, what are you doing with your mind? What is it that you're doing with your mind? What gets your focus or your attention? What are you talking about more often than not to yourself and to others? What is the narrative, your prevailing story? It is either lifting you or taking you down. Our self-talk is not neutral. As a licensed professional counselor, and I have the privilege of being one over 20 years, I am also privileged to journey others towards whatever change they desire. And if I serve 100 clients, 95% of them can solve their problem if they would just, and I don't mean that it's easy, but I'm saying it's simple, change the story that they're telling themselves about the situation. There's a quote that says, 2 men sat behind prison bars, one saw mud and the other saw stars. Which one are you? Are you a person who will have a situation, an obstacle? Will you look at the stars and find your answers? Actually, go deep inside and find your answers, because I personally believe we already have our answers. Or will you look at the mud and will you declare by the words you're saying to yourself? Will you declare by what you focus on that you are limited, that you're stuck, that you can't? God forbid. God forbid. Because give up the stories that limit you, beloved. Give up the stories that limit you. Change your story. If you change your story, you change your life. We all have a story, right? And oftentimes fear is a part of our story. Be afraid and do it anyway. That's what courage is. And then invite love into the situation. Love will win no matter what. We are capable of amazing things. What amazing thing are you capable of? It has nothing to do with the content of what's happening. It has everything to do with what you focus on. If you focus on, I got this, I can, I will try, I'm not by myself, Papa's with me, and my sisters and brothers are with me, we can make this happen, then likely is that we can make it happen. No, ain't no likely, we can make it happen. So, whatever stories you've been told about anything, turn the story around to work for your good. Turn the story around to work for your good. So, how do we do this? Self-love, if you, we're working on the website. Eventually, you'll be able to get a free gift at all times. We're getting there. But my the self-love mantra, I am an irreplaceable, unrepeatable miracle with my own special brand of brilliance. I am an irreplaceable, unrepeatable miracle with my own special brand of brilliance. You are irreplaceable. You're impossible to be replaced. Unrepeatable. You cannot be done again. You are remarkable. You're common and extraordinary. And my favorite one, you're miracle. A surprising and welcomed event, beloved. You are. So, I invite you to always be in action. Always be in action. Join us for the More Love Please. More Love Please. Join us with the More Love Please movement. And you can join that with $13 a month or $150, which will sponsor one of these shows. Go to the website, Dr. Catherine E. James, to join the movement. I invite you to get the latest book, Freedom is Our Birthright. Freedom is Our Birthright, and that is inviting you to freedom, emotional freedom. It is our birthright. So I invite you to get that book on any one of the major platforms. You can get it there. I invite you to be in action towards loving you. Don't just listen to me and be inspired. I know I'm inspirational. Toot my own horn. I don't have a problem with doing it. Don't just be inspired, but tell somebody about it. Make a plan so that you almost guarantee that you will be in action. And I also invite you to join us on our social media outlets. Look, you can get these replays on WHPR TV on demand, channel 33, and go to For the Love of It. All of them are up there. I've looked at them. I've seen them. I found them. They're all there. Go and get the replays. But I have so much content on social media all over the place. Just look up drcatherineejames.com. So that's my service to you to help us to love ourselves better. Join me at 5:40 a.m. live every weekday from 5:40 to 6 a.m. live on Facebook. And then finally, be sure to tune in here every Friday from 11:30 to noon. You can get me live when I'm in town, and when I'm not in town, you'll get an amazing replay. Remember, the conversations, tools, and strategies offered on this show is not intended as a substitute for official mental health practice. If you are in need of service, although I'm an amazing therapist, I'm just saying, be sure to seek out a mental health professional. That's not this. Dr. Martin Luther King said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. I want to thank Tanya and Devera L. for calling in today. Thank you, my beloved sisters, for calling in. This has been Dr. Catherine E. James serving you For the Love of It at WHPR TV Detroit. Have an amazing day. I love you.
You know what? Excellence is what you want, and excellence is what you get. How are you living? What are you giving? If excellence is what you see, then excellent